Some monsters hide in the shadows. Others demand attention, preferring to stand directly in the spotlight. They don't just commit murder. They mock the deepest fears of society, turning their crimes into a twisted public spectacle. And the killer who emerged in the late 1960s across the San Francisco Bay Area completely rewrote the rules of that terrifying game. This is the story of America's most infamous, unsolved killing spree. Our story begins on a cold December night in 1968 on the desolate outskirts of Vallejo, California. Two teenagers, David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen, were parked on a lover's lane just 5 days before Christmas. As darkness settled, an unknown figure approached their car. What happened next was a moment of sheer horror the region would never forget. The teenagers were shot and killed. At first, police thought it might be a robbery gone wrong or a lover's quarrel, but this was only the beginning of a nightmare. 6 months later, on 4th of July, 1969, the terror struck again. Once more, in Vallejo, in another secluded parking lot, a young couple, Darlene Ferrin and Michael McGow, were ambushed in a hail of bullets. Darlene died at the scene, but Michael, against all odds, survived. And this is where the case took a chilling turn that would grip the nation. Just about an hour after the attack, a phone call was placed to the Vallejo Police Department. The caller, speaking in a muffled, monotone voice, claimed responsibility for both this shooting and the murders 6 months prior. This was no longer just a random act of violence. A serial killer was on the loose, and he was desperate for recognition. But the true horror began a few weeks later. 3 major Bay Area newspapers received chilling handwritten letters. In them, the killer detailed specifics of the murders that only he could know. And with each letter, he sent a cryptic cipher-encoded message made of strange symbols and letters, daring the police to uncover his identity. In these letters, he gave himself a name. Zodiac demanded that his ciphers be published on the front page of the newspapers, threatening to go on a kill rampage if they refused. The public was terrified. The media was in a frenzy. His first cipher, the infamous 408-symbol cipher, was soon cracked. Not by the FBI or seasoned cryptographers, but by a high school teacher and his wife. The decoded message sent a shiver down everyone's spine. It read, "I like killing people because it is so much fun." This was the voice of a cold, calculating, and profoundly disturbed mind. But Zodiac was far from finished. In September 1969, he escalated his attacks in a way that seemed ripped from a horror film. At the serene Lake Berryessa in Napa Valley, he targeted 2 college students, Cecilia Shepard and Brian Hartnell, who were picnicking by the water. This time, the killer appeared wearing a bizarre, hooded executioner's costume, with his crosshair symbol stitched onto the bib. It was a terrifying piece of theater designed to instill maximum fear. After brutally attacking the couple, he walked over to their car and, with a black marker, wrote the dates of his attacks and drew his iconic symbol on the door. He wasn't just a killer. He was a performer, a terrorist communicating through the media. His last confirmed victim was a taxi driver named Paul Stein, shot in a wealthy San Francisco neighborhood in October 1969. In a final, gruesome act of defiance, Zodiac cut a piece from Stein's blood-soaked shirt and mailed it to the San Francisco Chronicle as proof of his deed. It was the climax of his media game, a final taunt to the police, who were always one step behind. For years, Zodiac continued to torment the public and law enforcement with a barrage of letters and ciphers. He claimed a total of 37 victims, though most of these claims could never be verified. His letters were filled with boasts, threats, and more cryptic puzzles, including the notoriously difficult 340 cipher, which remained unsolved for 51 years. The investigation, led by determined inspectors like Dave Toschi, chased down countless leads and suspects, but every path led to a dead end. No one was ever conclusively identified. Then, in the mid-1970s, as abruptly as he had appeared, the Zodiac went silent. The letters stopped. The killings ceased. He vanished without a trace, leaving behind a legacy of fear and a puzzle that has captivated and obsessed generations. Who was he? Was he a disgruntled military veteran, a quiet schoolteacher, or someone who hid in plain sight? Even today, his masked figure, his ciphers, and that chilling crosshair symbol remain etched in our collective consciousness. His true identity might be locked away forever, a dark secret buried by time. The Zodiac Killer remains the great unsolved mystery that still casts a long shadow over the Bay Area, a ghost in the machine of American true crime. What do you think? Who was the Zodiac? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you found this story as fascinating as I do, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into history's greatest unsolved mysteries.